What's up, brother and sister? How are you? Happy Thursday evening to each and every single one of you. It is another, well, I don't know if you were outside today earlier, but it was so freaking humid out earlier. I cannot even tell you, my friend. It was so crazy to the level where, like, it was funny because it was like 60 degrees, but the humidity was so daggone high that I was walking around outside earlier and I was sweating my behind off. I was like, whoa, Lord Jesus, it's a fire. But well, I didn't say all that though. But I said, but anyway,
If you said all that, whoa! But just so people know who we are, this is the Nick and Izzy show. We did have a guest plan. We had a little bit of technical issues. We will bring these people back. We want to have them. It's not that we don't. We really like these people. They used to actually be at the radio station with us.
They were.
So I don't want to spoil it. I want to save it for when we actually have the guest, because I think that's fair to get their proper promotional dues. So we did promote them already, but we had technical issues. Hopefully we have them on next week. I have a few guests in the can as well for some great people that we're going to have. But
we do, yes. It's sometimes this technology could be a little like funky and wild, but it's all good though. It's all good in the hood though. It definitely happens. Actually, somebody's checking in right now too. I think there she is. Terry, how are you, my friend? Hope you're having a great evening tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nick and Izzy. And I'll tell you, brother, I mean, it's been a crazy last couple of days. And I gotta tell you guys, I've really been trying my absolute best to stay as positive as I can, though, because I mean, I was talking to a couple of people earlier, and people I think are starting to get a little bit more like positive about things, but people are still kind of like, whoa, my goodness, like, but don't worry, we're gonna get through this together. We definitely are gonna get through this together. Now, I'll tell you this though, what the good news is though, and I heard this a couple days ago, and that Phil Murphy is gonna be allowing graduations in New Jersey. Yes.
Hallelujah.
Yes, I am so hallelujah. I am so happy about that because, that's one thing that kind of has been bothering me like the last couple of weeks is I said to myself, like, I just personally feel that if the New Jersey Shore was open, and it's just a personal thing, that how come the kids can't walk in graduation? But I guess they made the decision and they changed it. So hopefully a lot of towns are going to be doing that on July 6th in New Jersey. Because I'll tell you guys, I remember when I had my high school graduation, it was so crazy because, and I'm sure you remember too, Nick, when my grandmother saw me walk up after my name got called, you also seen this lady's eyes. Her eyes were just like, oh.
No, wait a minute. It would have just been, that's my child.
Yes, that's exactly what she said. She said, oh, that's my child right there. And she was actually tapping other people's arms too. She was just like, oh, that's my child right there, honey.
It's like one of those things where like you have your mom, your dad, your siblings, and all of a sudden like they're literally like tapping people on the row in front of them. That's my child. And you're like, oh my God, who is that behind me?
Like, yeah, brother. And it's like so much like pride and joy and just, it's just such an amazing and happy time though. And all of you have worked so hard for that. And if you're a high school, college grad right now, you better go ahead with your bad self. And I know you're going to go out here and do some amazing things. I just know you got it in you too.
Yes. And we are here to bring the positive vibes. By the way, just to give everybody a update, our last episode last week with our great colleague, Jerry Barmish, who is our colleague at 77 WABC. We've done over 300 views for that video, that episode so far.
Yes. I want to thank you so much, brother and sister, because you guys are so freaking amazing. And it's funny because when me and Nick started doing this actually a couple of weeks ago, he brought the idea up to me and he was just like, hey, dude, we should actually do like a podcast or something on Facebook Live or something. And I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, dude. Hey, man, all right. So I was just like, because, I love doing this. I started doing Facebook Live like 2 years ago because I'm sure some of you remember when I, oh my gosh, I can't even believe I started doing it when I was on the other radio station though, but I was recording myself live on WPAT and you guys were seeing like all the behind the scenes action. Yes, you guys were seeing me talk to the people coming in and talk to this person. I was getting the stories, articles, all that stuff ready. But I really like this. It's amazing now how technology, and I would say even with everything going on now, I mean, all the Zoom meetings, then you have like just so many different people doing different kinds of things. with technology is phenomenal. I was telling Nick, actually, my friend, the other day, that what's phenomenal about like the web now too, and I see it on YouTube all the time. There is this one 6-year-old boy, or actually, matter of fact, he's probably 8 years old now. What he does is, and I love watching people on YouTube, like they just have these ideas and they go on there and they start like talking about like what their interests are. And what happens is that, and I always say this too, there's always somebody out there, my friends, that always is going to want to, see what you're doing. And also they're going to have the same interests as you too. So if you're really into freaking McDonald's cheeseburgers, I guarantee you that somebody else out there is probably really into that just like you are.
YouTube is a creative platform, like as we've seen. It's basically a free platform where you can build your content, whether it's comedic, whether it's informational, whether it's historical, whether it's trivia, as you used to do trivia nights. But basically, was YouTube, Facebook, which we're using right now to do a live show every week, or Twitter or Instagram and everything. It's essentially a free platform. Back when we were younger, and that's weird because we're still pretty much young, but when we were younger, it was hard to break into the entertainment field, whether it was being on TV, whether it was being on radio, whether it was whatever you wanted to do. Now you can go on these free platforms, like I said, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all these other platforms, and make your own show. And once you build your following up, which we're trying to do now, and you eventually get those sponsors, which will help you, or advertisers for your show. And then you can pretty much make your own show on a social media feed. So basically, you don't need the agents, so to speak, anymore. You don't need to go through everybody to find what you need. You could do it on your own. And there's actually this really funny comedian that I like, Izzy, that our colleague Jerry actually is getting an interview with. You ever heard of the comedian Randy Rainbow?
I have heard of him before. Yes. I remember you telling me about him the other week, and I saw one of his videos. And if I'm not mistaken, he does like these comedy skits with like different impressions, right?
But with political comedy videos where he changes the words of songs to make it politically induced. And it's really funny. And our colleague Jerry, who works with us at WABC, actually has an interview coming up with him, I think in July. And
oh, that's going to be really good, actually, because, it's just like, because now I feel like comedy, so many people being home, they're just binge watching everything. So now I feel like so many people are watching like so many more like comedy skits and just so many more things they normally, if they're going out like during the day and doing their thing at work or whatever they're doing or driving around or whatever, they might not be able to have a chance to catch it though, because some people are just so busy. But that's really cool, though. Oh, I can't wait for Jerry to do an interview. Yeah, we got to try to actually grab him. And let me just put some of your comments up over here, too, because Adam Castro just said, what's up, Isaiah Izzy Richardson? How you doing, Adam? I haven't talked to you in a while, and I'm going to make sure I call you pretty soon, too, brother. And also, let's head right on down over here and say, what's up, brother? Long time. Oh, to David C. Lotus. Oh, David, my brother, I have not spoke to you in so long. I hope you're doing well. I see you out there on social media, boy. Get it? Because you're doing yourself a phenomenal job right now. And
hey, Izzy, it seems like you're finding friends from the past on here.
I am. You know what? That's another thing that's amazing about social media, though, guys. I mean, I actually know people on YouTube, and I know people on like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram that sometimes they meet their significant others on there. Sometimes they actually connect with people, which I feel is so cool, on Facebook from people that they might have known from high school or that they might have known from just, they might have met somewhere like at a store or something like that. And then they actually connect on there. They're just like, hey, do you remember me? I met you in ShopRite the other week. And it's just like, oh, damn, yeah, you're cool. Huh?
It's amazing. It's amazing because on social media, I've bumped into people, I guess not physically, but on social media, I'm like, oh my God, I haven't spoken to this person in 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And I'm like, oh my God, we got to catch up and see how each one is doing. But it's just, I don't know. It's amazing to me what social media has done. I mean, we'll get into a little bit of how social media might get a little changed according to President Trump. If you saw what happened the past couple of days, that President Trump wants to make an executive order on Twitter.
I'll tell you guys, I gotta tell you though, I have never seen a president. And
I saw your comment, by the way, on Facebook.
Oh, about which one?
The one where you were commenting on one of Trump's. You were sharing somebody else's comment on Facebook. I think it was yesterday, maybe.
Oh, was that the picture that I put out about
Donald
Trump that said something about like you hate me so much?
Yes.
You cash that check. You know what, actually, guys, I had to delete that actually. And
did you?
You know what, I did, because I really felt like I actually like offended.
I saw some people commented on your picture like, "Oh, Izzy, what's this?" Like,
yeah, but you know what's so funny? I was talking to them too, and they told me, they were just like, because I'm like the least political person ever, guys. Like I can't even believe that I'm even.
I can vouch. He's not political. Now, I might talk politically, but I'm not political. I'm like Izzy, where I don't need. Politics is not going to ruin my day. It's not going to ruin your day. It's not going to ruin my day. We might be angry about certain things, like the way New York has handled reopening, whether that's Long Island actually opened. Was that today or yesterday?
I think it opened today, actually.
So Long Island's on the way back. New Jersey is practically beat us to the curb already. They're already open. They're having outings of 25 people already.
Yeah, it's what I'm seeing a lot too, though. Actually, going back to that, to what you were saying before, brother, is it's just, yeah. I mean, it's so crazy right now. I mean, with social media too, because there's so many things about like Trump coming out too, and I just figured, like, I saw that a couple of days ago, and I was just like, let me share this. That's actually because I actually thought personally it was funny. Because a lot of people know, like, it was just, to me, it was just something where I'm just like, oh no, Trump didn't really say that, though. But it's something that I could see Donald Trump saying. I could actually see Donald Trump getting up on a podium and saying something like, hey, you hate me so much, but you cashed that freaking stimulus check, didn't you? Like, he would say something like that. I guarantee you he would say something like that. And I said to myself, I was just like, it's really Congress that passed all that, though. But that's just what a lot of people knew that too. And what we were saying, because one of my brothers commented too, Nick, and he was just like, yeah, dude, oh, come on, man, are you serious? I was just like, no, I told him, I was like, bro, I know Congress passed it. He was like, okay, dude, I love you. Like,
what the
I just wanted to make sure that you kind of knew that. And I was like, yeah.
You know what the problem is, though, is that you and I have had this discussion many times, especially working in a 24/7 news station every single day. What do I keep saying to you? People let politics destroy their personal relationships with people. You and I have seen it. You and I have seen it with all types of people. People need to relax the politics and live, as you would say, live your life in the most positive way you possibly can. I'm all for talking about politics, but we got to rest it a little bit.
Yes, and guys, I'll tell you though, I mean, I am just, I think now is like a really important time too, just to like, we just got to really, like, we just have to keep going every single day. We just got to keep pushing and striving for the absolute best, though, because I know you got it in you. Ooh, I know you got it in you, child.
By the way, pop up the comment from Jackie. It's actually a good one.
You got it in you. Oh, I just saw that too, actually. Now, Jackie Letty, she's going to check in too. She said, I just want to say I'm so glad you guys are doing this. Keep it up. I've been really into podcasts and I'm loving this. Oh, thank you so much, Jackie. And let me head right over to your next comment that says, I agree. Yes. We definitely have to, though. And see, okay, let me tell you guys actually a story. See, okay, I had Taco Bell the last 2 days, and
oh no,
I'm obsessed with Taco Bell. Like, I really am. Let's talk about something so funny, right? Because you know what I love getting there, though. And okay, let me back this up.
Wait a minute. Time out. Is this going to be one of your like drunken rampage Taco Bell stories? Yeah. No, just like where you're like, all right. And I hear that some of my friends used to say this when I was in college. Like, all right, we're going to go get some drinks, and then by the time we're done at the end of the night, we're just going to go pig out on Taco Bell. And I'm like, wait, what does Taco Bell have to do with drinking? Somebody tell me, please.
You know what it is, Nick? It's like when you're drinking alcohol. And when you've had enough drinks, like I did this past Sunday, I had 3 White Claws when I was hanging out with my neighbor. And let me tell you guys, Izzy was a little, I was a little, hey, like I was
feeling a little good.
Nice. And it was something where Like even my neighbor was just like, damn boy, woo, man. And it was just three of them because I'm obsessed with White Claw. But there's something about drinking though that it actually does something like to your mind. Like I was actually talking to my neighbor about this yesterday with alcohol. And he was telling me that some people actually, yeah, I know you're laughing your ass off. He was telling me that some people actually they go through situations. I think now too with everything going on, people they say are drinking a lot more though because it does something to your brain and to your mind though where it kind of like relaxes you. And I don't know, it's just like when I'm with my friends, guys, like, and we've had a couple drinks in us, that's the first thing we freaking think about
Oh
is
my
Taco Bell Cantina Les Mas or Live Mas. Ding. How does that go actually? What does it go with it goes with the little bell, right? When they have that. Whatever happened to Taco Bell's commercial like that?
I used to love the bell. Seriously, in the commercials, you knew you were listening to a Taco Bell commercial when you hear a bell. Or it reminds me of those Six Flags commercial with the old man. Do 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 do.
Dude, I swear to you, let me tell you guys something. When I got a little older, right? When I was 15 years old, I looked at my grandma one time when I was sitting in the room and I was just like, Grandma, is that possible for like somebody like to dance that fast? Because guys, that guy was freaking moving his freaking behind. When I tell you, and I don't know how he had that freaking stick too. Like that dude was moving so freaking. I was like, I can't even move that fast, and I'm 17 years old. I was just like, holy crap! That guy was really crazy though. There's some really, I mean, good commercials out there. But it's like, you know what I really love though? You know what's funny? I watch Jeffree Star all the time. I don't know if you know who that is, my friend. I'm in love with Jeffree Star. Like I watch him all the time. I watch Shane Dawson. I love watching Shane and his boyfriend when they hang out with Jeffree because they always have these cool trips when they go to Taco Bell. And it's freaking amazing. But see, here's the thing with Jeffree Star that gets me though, and this is so funny. This is one of the things I just love about him. The dude has he's so freaking rich. This guy, I can't even tell you. His net worth, I think, is like $200 million. And he goes to fast food restaurants, and those are his favorite food places to eat at. Like I was watching one of his videos the other day, and he was just like, "Yeah, guys, Taco Bell is my favorite place to eat." You should see when he goes to McDonald's, when he goes to Taco Bell, and he orders like $50-something worth of food, and they just pig out back at their house. So, or if he's with one of his friends that's doing makeup, like he was with this girl the other day doing her makeup, and it was so freaking funny though because like. I mean, you know, now mind you too, though, if I was rich like that too, though, I'd be going down to Taco Bell too, though, probably. I would. I'd be going right on down there to get my 6 chicken quesadillas shredded melts.
Oh my God.
My two orders of chicken quesadillas with a little side of the sour cream though to dip it in though too. Because you know you gotta add that sour cream, child. You can't. No, I'm just kidding. Because some people actually don't like sour cream. I know people don't eat tacos with that, and I'm like, wow, what? But it's all good because that's them. That's all you. That's them, though, baby.
No, but and by the way, just so everybody hears on our show, I love the Izzy stories because especially the ones that involve going to Taco Bell or going out and partying, and all of a sudden I hear him go, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be one of those stories where I'm just like, oh, good, I can't wait, I want to hear this, and yeah, those stories.
I remember how much I really ordered one time. I was with one of my brothers, Cody, and we actually took a trip down to Pennsylvania to look at this Ford Explorer that I was actually this Ford Explorer that it had like a lot of problems to it. And actually, thank God I didn't buy it though, because I think at the time I was going to actually pay like $2,800 for it. But then that's when I got my little Escape and all that. That was the day we actually passed by so many food places. And you guys know when you're on the highway and you're hungry, let me tell you something though. It's so bad because all these places like look at you, and I swear to you, you'll be in your car driving and you pass by like McDonald's and Sonic, and they'll be looking at you like, "Hey, Izzy, we got a 2 for $5 special. How you doing? You coming over here to eat?" I swear to God, that's exactly how it really is though when you're driving past those places, because especially when you're hungry though, because you'll eat freaking everything. Same with the supermarket. Ugh.
Well, yeah, everything. You're so used to working in supermarkets. By the way, pop up the most recent comment, by the way.
You will. Let's head on back over here to these comments and check it out. And Jamie Bianculo said, "Hey guys, sorry we couldn't figure out how to get on with you guys. We'll be set up for next time." Yes. And
okay, so So just because I said earlier we were supposed to have a guest, Danny B and Jamie, who were colleagues of us at WABC Radio. Danny B used to do a show, and it's bad because I can't remember. What was the name of the show, Izzy?
Inside the Numbers with Danny B and Coolbo.
Okay, so that show was great. I actually did listen to it. Very good on the sports handicapping side. Now, the reason I'm transitioning to that point, I want to talk a little bit about, I brought this up to Izzy earlier in the day when we were talking about some stuff to talk about Major League Baseball. And I really wanted to get Danny B because Danny B was on social media earlier going to town on Major League Baseball for the issues that are going on with the minor leagues. And it's so great that, how do I want to put it? Major League Baseball is in trouble. A lot of sports are in trouble, but Major League Baseball is in a massive amount of trouble because today it was announced that 1,000 minor leaguers were cut from all different Major League owned teams. And this whole thing is frustrating to me because we can't get back on the field. We can't play sports. You know me, Izzy. I go crazy without sports. I can't. I'm barely functioning. I'm barely functioning at work. Not because I can't do my job. It's because I don't have sports to watch. And I feel bad for these minor leaguers. I actually spoke to a minor leaguer today on Twitter who gave me a statement. And because I said to him, well, I saw you were speaking out on Twitter. What's going on? And they were just mad because minor leaguers, and a lot of people don't know this, minor leaguers make a stipend, I think, of $400 a week. Think about that for a second, Izzy. $400 a week. You can barely live on $400 a week. You know what that means?
That's challenging, brother. And I mean, I feel so bad for just anybody who has just been going through a big challenge with this. And the sports is really something that's very interesting because, Nick, just like I was telling you the other week, brother, it's going to be interesting to see. Now, the NFL, I got to tell you, I feel like that's the only sports league right now. And I pray to God, I hope I'm wrong. But the NFL really looks like right now they're the only sports league that has a big chance of being in full force come the fall because of everything going on with this whole devil-ass virus.
It's interesting you say the NFL because the NFL, and a lot of people don't know this, I've said this on a sports podcast that I do, but the commissioner, Roger Goodell, is probably one of the, I don't know how I want to describe it. He's a snake. He will do anything in his power to get the NFL back on the field, whether it means we're going to put the guys in danger. They can't be around their families. They don't want to pay certain amounts. And this is a problem in all sports. Major League Baseball, the owners and the Players Association can't come to an agreement to get back on the field. Now, let's look back for a second. You're probably only going to play 80 games at the most if we come back and we have a season. So automatically, all Major League Baseball players have to take a 50% prorated cut of their salary because it's not fair to pay them for all 162 games if they're not going to play 162 games. So, all right, they already took a cut. They agreed. Now the owners have come back and said, hey, look, we want you to take another cut, and we only want you to make a seventh or an eighth of the actual salary that you made. Now, it's very hairy agreements between players. And I think are you in a union at Wegmans?
I'm not. No, Wegmans is actually not a union nice company. Like because they treat their employees so well that the employees actually elected not to have a union.
Oh, okay. So a lot of places have unions. I won't say everybody has unions because they need to negotiate fair wages and vacations and breaks and medical benefits. And if you didn't do this in sports, the owners would jump all over the players and take advantage, which is what they're doing now, in my opinion, because they're saying, well, we're not going to agree to a deal unless you keep taking massive, massive, massive amounts of pay cuts. So I don't know what you do here. Do you, as the players, do you just say, "F it, I'm coming back," and take all the pay cuts and figure it out, or do you just say, "I'm done," which is what I think is going to happen? I don't think they play a season. I don't think baseball plays a season, period, because I just don't think they can agree to a deal to come back.
Yeah, and I think that's what the challenge is too, though, Nick, because I gotta tell you guys, like sometimes when you start getting money involved with people's salaries, it starts to really become a very challenging situation. And I gotta tell you too, though, I mean, it's very like crazy because like somebody like ourselves, Nick, who are we're very blessed. I gotta tell you, I'm very fortunate to be working all my jobs right now because I know some of you out there may not be in the same position I'm in, and I can't even tell you. I mean, I was talking to a few people today and saying how blessed and fortunate I am. I just look at it as something like a lot of the players and stuff too. But I can also understand. I understand where they're coming from too, because I feel like when you've been getting a very high salary for a long time and then they cut your salary down a lot, it starts to make you wonder and think like, I guess, I'm not in these people's shoes, but if I was somebody who was getting paid a ton and a ton and a ton of money, me personally, I would I would take the pay cut though, because I would understand what's happening with everything personally. Now, let's say like I was playing in the MLB and they were paying me like $100 million to play for the whole season or something like that.
Well,
you know,
I know what you're saying, but because they sign contracts for 7, 8, 9 years. Let's say you're making $20 million a year. Let's go with that number. Which
okay,
there's a decent, I shouldn't say decent, but there's a group of players that make, let's just say, between 10 million and 35 million. Because the top player, Mike Trout, I think makes 37 million a year
right
now, which is a lot. That's top 1%. That's seriously what we're talking about here. And on the average, I think he makes like Mike Trout makes $150,000 a game. So that's, most people would be happy to make $150,000 in a year.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Teams. So, and I can understand where they're coming from, because they're saying, "Hey, Mike Trout, we want you to go from making $150,000 a game to $70,000 a game." That's a massive drop. But at the same time, like you just said, you should be blessed that you're an athlete who is healthy and makes a lot of money and is happy with what they make, because there are some people out there, and the number was just updated today, 41 million plus are unemployed right now around the USA, in this country. 41 million. That's a lot.
It is. I mean, we have never seen numbers like that in this country's just existence. I mean, I was talking to my cousin the other day, and he was telling me, he was like, "Isaiah, I'm 50-something years old, and I have never seen like this kind of this kind of like craziness with the unemployment rate." And I gotta tell you, I mean, I would though, Nick. I mean, I would take that pay cut because it's something where I understand what's happening, but I feel like people who make a lot of money, and this is actually very interesting because I was thinking about this yesterday, and a lot of people right now who have been living paycheck to paycheck with everything going on, I guess we're kind of so used to living that kind of lifestyle where people, I guess, are budgeting their money in a certain kind of way to get them through the next like couple weeks. But people who are very rich though, like they're not really worried too much about it though. And I think it's also kind of the same thing with like rich folks, how like they make so much to where like they're used to having that kind of lifestyle. Now,
Right.
somebody like us, we're used to having that kind of lifestyle where we're living that check to check. Now, not everybody who is like us are living check to check, because there's a lot of people who are very good with their money and stuff.
What you're talking about is living on a budget, I think, is what you're actually talking about.
Right, living on a budget. And then some people who, because it's actually a fact, they say that the more money that you make, the more money you start spending on things. And I think that's where like a lot of this, now I could be wrong, but I think personally that's where a lot of this mindset may come from, is because like when you have like a certain kind of lifestyle and you like go down a little bit lower, and I guess you could say decline in it, it makes it very challenging though to kind of like accept that. And I think that's where a lot of these players and also the owners and things of that nature too are getting a little kind of like, because they're the owners right now, like I was talking yesterday with one of my friends, and he was telling me about how like a lot of rich people right now are so afraid of what's happening with everything.
They don't want to spend.
Because and they don't want to spend money like they normally do because of what's happening with the economy. And somebody like me, I'm over here thinking like, oh, I'm still kind of just doing my thing and all that, because I'd be so, child, do you know how happy I would be if I freaking won freaking Jersey Cash 5 $178,000? Oh, I would tap out right now.
We talk about this every week. Izzy brings this up every week when we see each other at the radio station. He's just like, he'll turn to me and he'll say, child, if I won the lottery, I'd be free falling all the way to the bank, baby.
Let me show you this real quick too. And I'll tell you though, we're gonna let me show you this real quick though. You can probably see this right now. Look at this. Look, I don't know if see, I got my little Jersey Cash 5 ticket right now. I'm sorry, I know you can't really see that too well though. 3 people won. This is what makes me so happy with the lottery. 3 people actually won $102,000 jackpot, and it was so 3 different people won all that money, and they're probably going to split the money in 3 ways, which I feel like is amazing when that happens with the lottery.
Yeah,
it's just like everyone's going to get a little cut of that, so each person's going to get like $40,000. But actually, Jamie, you put up some great comments over here.
Yeah, I see them. They're good.
Let me talk to let me go over here and put some of these up though, because she said that we need sports.
We do. We absolutely do. I said it earlier. I'm going crazy that I don't have my Yankees baseball. I don't have my Brooklyn Nets basketball. I don't know if I'm going to get my pathetic Jets, which I don't know if I really want to watch the Jets this year.
Oh God! I swear to you that if that happens, it's woo. God, I mean, we got to pray for our team.
Oh, I like this one.
Last year was a freaking disaster.
I like this one. You do what you do because you love it, not about the money. I agree.
I agree too, Jamie.
Izzy and I can relate because we literally work at WABC by the hour, and we both make $15.45 an hour. So you and I can relate to that. You go into the radio business because you love it, like you and I do. You're not going to get rich at first. You have to work really hard, like you and I have, working all types of hours, working all types of days. You and I have both probably worked 12-hour shifts a few times in our lives there at the radio station. You and I have worked the midday show and then worked another 8 hours after that at times. We've gone from working Saturday and Sunday. I told you a story. Remember I worked like 9 days in a row at the radio station?
Oh my gosh, Nick, you were so. I remember I saw you like your 9th day. You looked at me, you were just like, oh my God, I'm so like you almost. I thought you were actually getting sick. I was like, oh my God.
I did get sick. I did get sick. I remember. And don't get me wrong, it's nobody's fault. It's a tough schedule to work 9 overnights in a row. It is tough. But
yeah, that's very challenging. Like I'm getting ready to go in and do an overnight tonight because my PD texted me earlier and asked me if I can cover one of my coworkers, and I said, yeah, no problem. Which is
an emergency. It's all about in the radio business. Sometimes it's about emergencies because
yes, and I love this, guys. I mean, I cannot even tell you. Like I really do this because I love entertaining you, and I love being on the air. I love being on camera. I love being on the mic. And, and a lot of people are like that. But I'm going to tell you this, though, too. And I tell this to everybody out there, too, brother and sister. Whatever you want to do as a career or whatever you want to do in your life or whatever kind of dreams that you have, though, nothing is impossible. Just remember that, please. Nothing is impossible. You can do anything you set your mind to. And I'll tell you this too, though, if somebody actually doesn't believe in your vision, because unfortunately, there is some people out here who won't believe in the same vision that you guys believe in. And that's okay, because I don't want you to get mad at them. I don't want you to yell at them. I don't want you to do anything like that to them. All you have to say to them now is just say, thank you for your opinion. And that's it. You don't have to get, because some people a lot of people are going to believe in your vision, though, and they're going to cheer you on. Because I cannot even tell you guys, when I first started out in this business in radio, I had people that were telling me all the time, and they said to me that that's not a good job to have, like working at all, because that's something that you should be doing on the side instead of doing it like full time, right, Nick? And because I had people tell me. in the past that I should be doing a job like working at Amazon, or I should be doing a job like working at like a company that's going to be in business for a long time, like Nabisco. Now, mind you, those companies are not bad at all. Those are not bad companies at all to work for. And I know people that they work at companies like that for their whole entire life. I just personally feel, my opinion, that, and I also feel too, like when you're working so hard for something, when you get that yes, let me tell you guys something. You are going to be so happy, because I was crying, and I even said to my radio mentor, La Loca, I said, I'm not going to stop until I do everything that is going to be right for us here at the station and everything like that, though. And I developed a great relationship, and we really do this because we love it. And the money is going to get better. The money gets better because I feel like when you're our age, like when you're in your 20s, it's very challenging, actually. Like, I talk to some of my friends right now. I have a few friends that are 26, they're 25, they're 23, they're like and I'm like right in the middle at 24. And, it's very crazy because like they're graduating college, and I understand, my friend, because I know you may be watching this right now, and you may have just graduated from college. And if you did, I want to first say hashtag Izzy loves you, and hashtag congratulations, and hashtag you are the freaking bomb. And I don't want you to ever forget that, though. Don't you ever, ever, ever forget.
No, never. Graduation is important. And it's been a challenge, as Izzy brought up, that college graduates kind of got, I don't know, what's the best word you want to say, BS'd out of their graduation due to coronavirus pandemic situations. But it seems like New Jersey's kind of coming around on the high school graduations. That's the one I heard about. And they're going to let kids walk. I don't see that in New York. I don't see that happening anytime soon in the city, because right now the city is still behind everybody else. And Mayor de Blasio in New York has already said that we're not opening until like the second week of June for anything in the city. So I wouldn't expect anything in New York City right now, but I'm glad to see that we're moving in somewhat of a direction that the numbers are starting to go down. And I think in New York, I think the number was flat rate today. I think it was 74 deaths, which is still a high number.
Right. Because one person dying, I feel like, is too much, though. And I agree with, Donald Trump on that. I think one person dying is too much. And, let me actually say this, too, from Jamie. Jamie Bianculo said, they get paid too much money. It's crazy. Take the pay cut and play. Give America hope back. Don't make everything about money. And I agree with you on that, Jamie. And let's head on over to another comment of yours, which says, yep, lifestyles cost a lot. Think of all those wives. Think of all those wives spend just on their glam. Yeah, I mean, but I gotta tell you too, though, Jamie. And Jamie said I have to go. You guys, thank you so much, and we'll make sure we work on that, sis. I gotta tell you too, though, guys. Like, I feel like what you should do, though, also is enjoy your life, though. Definitely enjoy your life, because I'm somebody who, like, I love my job so much, though, that I think I actually work too much sometimes, because some of my friends tell me, they're just like, dude, like, you got to come out with us, bro. Like, you're working too much. Like, you're going to burn yourself out. And I've actually started listening to them a lot more after that. Because at first I was just like, yeah, it's okay. I'm making money. But I said to myself too, though, like, I think I do have to slow down a little bit, because there is some weeks, guys, where I think my body's just like, oh, about ready to kind of like give out and everything, because
I know that feeling.
You do get burnt out. And I feel like it is important. And there's so much in life to see. I mean, there's so many things in life that you can do out here. And I know right now maybe a little crazy, but it's going to get better, because we're going to go back to a lot of traveling. Because let me tell you, brother and sister, I had so many plans, because, child, I wanted to put my behind right on I-95 South and drive right down to Florida, which I still might do in another month and a half, though, hopefully when things start to really, because it's going to get better definitely soon.
We talked about that. Hey, we should tell them the conversation we had, talking about trying to get to Disney.
Yes. Oh my gosh, because I've never been to Disney World before. And
how have you not been to Disney? Seriously, how have you not been to Disney?
I don't know. I haven't really, like, I've never went down there before. I really, the last vacation I've taken, guys, was to California 10 years ago.
Oh my, what? 10 years ago?
Nick, I have not been on vacation, dude, in about 10 years. I've been working ever since I was 14. And because it was just because my whole life has been me and my grandma living together. And, when I was 14, like, I wanted a freaking job so bad. I was just like,
This is a good story, actually, and I want you to tell this story for people who are listening that it pays to have a good work ethic at a young age. So tell this story. It's a good one.
Oh man. So I'll tell you though, brother and sister, when I was 14, I was going to the local Pathmark by my house and I was begging for a job. Like I know I drove that freaking customer service lady off the wall because I know she told my mom the one day, because my mom knew her real well. She's just like, Annie, your son, woo boy, he wants to work so freaking bad, girl. I hope we can get him some working papers or something. Because every day I go in there, I'd be like, will you hire me? 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 Please, will you hire me, please? Because I was 14, I was young, I was freaking like naive, I was so stupid. I was doing stuff out there that was just completely that's some other stuff. Yeah. But I got a job when I was 14 years old, and my first job was not at Pathmark or was not at my first like tax paying job was at Target, but my first ever job was landscaping. And I'm so fortunate and blessed because in my neighborhood here, I'm still working for my clients right now. And I remember when my big brother printed out flyers for me to give around to the people in my neighborhood. And I went around to each neighbor's house around here and I put like a flyer on their door. And I remember my first customer, which was Tim and Kelly Wilson. Hashtag Izzy loves you, because you guys, I'll never forget when Tim came out of the door and he said to me, and that was my first ever sale. Now I was 14, so freaking happy to get any kind of money. He was just like, okay, could you cut my grass every week? I'll give you $25 each week. Boom, child sold. That was the first contract sold. And then the second contract was actually a $60 contract, which
nice.
Across the street from my neighbors, Miss Poplowski, and she is awesome too. I was working for her, and I had 3 people working with me at the time. And it was just one of those things, guys, where it was so awesome, though. And that was my first ever job. And my grandmother, she was such a blessing, though, because I wanted one of those lawn tractors. You know those lawn tractors that you see at Home Depot and Lowe's? When I was a little boy, I used to want one of those so bad to just drive around in. Because I don't know about you, though, but when I would see one of those lawn tractors, I'd be like, oh, my gosh.
You just want to ride it.
Driving a car, kind of. And I wanted it so bad. So my grandma bought it for me, and she told me, she says, hey, Isaiah, I have a Lowe's credit card, and what I can do is I can put it on my credit card, and then if you give me like $500, because my grandma needed some help at the time because she was doing everything by herself with the bills, and that's another reason why I wanted to work, is because I told my grandma, I said, Gram, if you need help with the bills, please let me know, because I'm making money. I have $2,000 in my account right now. I think I had 2,000 when I was like 16 or something like that. And I told her, I was just like, Mommy, like, please. I said, do you need 500? You need 800? Like, what do you need for bills? She said, no, baby, don't worry about it. I said, I just want you to save your money because, it's going to be good for your future and stuff. And I was so blessed and grateful for that, though. And, another thing is that when she bought me that tractor, it costed $2,800 in total with the bagging system. And she went there and bought it for me, and I gave her the $500. And I paid my grandma off for the tractor and stuff too, and it was really cool though. And she bought that for me, and it was so sad because last year it caught on fire. But that's a crazy story. It was a warm day, and then my neighbors across the street, they gave me theirs.
What is it with you and your crazy stories? One, you're going out, you're drinking on the town, then all of a sudden your tractors are on fire. Like what is going on with you?
Nick, I have a crazy life. I really do. My life is just so, like, I feel like things happen to me that normally don't happen to a lot of people. I really
I gotta tell you something too, because like you were talking about family and trying to be around family, which has been very difficult as of late. It's been a struggle for me as well, because I've told you the stories about my nephew.
Oh yeah, right.
And how I was looking forward to being around my nephew all the time. We would go and pick him up. He would stay here every day because my brother and sister-in-law both work during the day. So I would watch him. My parents would watch him during the day till I would go to work at night. And I saw him for the first time without FaceTime. I saw him for the first time in about, I want to say like over a month, like wearing the mask. We went over for my sister-in-law's birthday. And I don't know,
right.
Like I have a tough exterior on the outside, so I don't get emotional on the outside, but like on the inside of me, it was just like, wow, I finally get to see my nephew, who I haven't seen in person in a very long time. Like
Right.
it was eating me up inside every single day because of the virus and going back and forth to the city. That's why I wish this virus would go F itself and be gone so that I could see my nephew in person without having to wear a freaking mask.
I know.
And it was so nice being with him the other day because my nephew's going to be 2 years old very soon, actually.
Oh wow, God bless him.
And all of a sudden, because he's learning names, all of a sudden he'll come up to me all the time like ick, 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 and
Really,
I'm like,
he says
yeah.
that? Oh my God.
And I'm like, usually it like I'm like, oh, he's gonna say that forever, and I'm like, no, it didn't bother me that day because like I haven't seen him in so long in person, and like I was just like, oh, I've missed this so much.
It
Seeing
couldn't
my
be better though, Nick. And I feel you though, dude, because honestly, like, oh gosh, I just want to see like some people because I guys, this is so hard for me because I'm like the biggest and socialist, the most social person ever. Like I'm a social butterfly. Like you should have seen me. You guys should see me like when I'm in bars and stuff. Like I go around and talk to everyone. Like I grab my little Jackal Coke and I'm around that bar. Like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Like I swear to you though, I and that's the thing with me personally is like I'm just such a huge people person, and this is really killing me not being able to give people hugs though. But I gotta tell you though, I actually did give somebody a hug the other day though, and actually it was my neighbor around the corner
did
though.
you?
I did, yeah. Because I posted a status on Facebook, and I said to myself, I was just like, this is getting so hard, me being a social butterfly and not being able to give people a hug. So I was actually getting ready to head out of my street in front of our house here, and my neighbor, she was actually coming up our street, and I stopped because my neighbor on the corner was outside. So I said hi to him. I was like, hey, Philip. And he was outside watching like his dog and everything like that. And then my neighbor Kathy came on over and she looked at me and she said, come here, honey. And she gave me a hug because she saw my status. And she was like, I don't social distance. I was like, oh, I love you. Like, I swear to you guys, though, it was, I mean, there was no social distance there. But honestly, though, guys, I feel that we are at the level now where I feel like we have done an amazing job trying to control this freaking monster, devil ass virus, I call it. But honestly, guys, brother and sister, the best thing you can do right now, I think, is, just continue to, definitely be, be careful, definitely. Just, think about the recoveries too. Like when you think about the virus, though, if you think about all the people who have recovered from that, I believe that's going to help you because that's been helping me out a lot too. Thinking about a lot of people who have recovered from it, though, because I know that we want to go out and do things. And I feel like, if you and the other person are comfortable with hugging, I feel like you should go ahead and do that. Go ahead and give that person a hug if both of you feel comfortable. And I would ask the person first though. But I mean, because my other neighbor too though, and Roxanne for watching this, you know how crazy we got the other night. Because I was having a little glass of wine and
Oh, that
stuff.
was the story you were telling me the other night.
Yeah, that was when I was kind of like, hey, feeling
You
good
were
off
like,
the white balls.
in your terms, you would say you were feeling nice.
I was feeling nice. And, yeah, I was. And I mean, Roxanne came up to me though. She hugged me. She was like, I miss you. Like she was just giving me kisses, and because I haven't seen her in so long. And yeah, guys, I mean, just the best thing you can really do, I think, is to continue to take your vitamins to make your immune system as strong as it can, and just continue to be careful and just wash your hands. Just go out, and then if you have somebody that you really love so much, and if they're okay with hugging, I would just go ahead and give them a hug, my friend. If you're out in public and stuff, still, just be careful, but just make sure you have fun though, because just remember, we are doing the best job that we possibly can. And I feel like all the scientists and doctors and healthcare workers have done the best they can. And we have flattened the curve. We've done the best we could as Americans in the public too. And I think it's time for us to really start, going back to some kind of normalcy a little bit though, but doing it. And I understand we're trying to do this in a very good way. But I think we should just go back to doing our thing and kind of just, just enjoy your life too. Because I know the weather's getting warmer out there. And I know a lot of you want to go out and do a little party. But, just be, a little careful.
Yeah.
So
be very careful.
About hugs though first though, because some people are getting like, oof.
Yeah. I mean, talking about feelings of emotion, but basically, I think we just, like you said, be careful, wash your hands, wear a mask, and that's an inside joke for Izzy and I. Wear a mask, which we're not going to share here because that could get us in trouble. But I think he knows what I'm talking about. And
oh yeah,
wear a mask when you go out. Try to social distance. I know that's tough, especially if you're with your family and you live in the same house as your family. That's a different situation. You've been around those people, so I think that's a little bit different. But it's very difficult. It's very, I don't know how to describe it. I saw today also that LIRR, I think, is adding an extra 100 trains to start getting people
everything flowing back in again. Yeah, that's good.
But they're saying that the volume of people is not going to come back anywhere near normal until the end of the year. So
yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen with the city, though. I think the city, because the other states like New Jersey, like I think a lot of people are going to go to the parks. I think a lot of people are going to do their thing. I mean, honestly, guys, the best thing you can really do with this, I think, is yeah. I mean, if you really know the person well and they feel comfortable like being next to you and stuff. I mean, I got to tell you, I mean, earlier when I was at Wegmans and stuff, I mean, I was, you know, I'm next to some of my coworkers sometimes. You know, when I'm outside, I have my mask off usually, not like completely off, but I have it down because I can't really breathe with it on though. And I go back in the store, I put it back up. But I mean, I've been around some of our customers today, and they weren't really kind of like, I mean, I was helping them pack their car, and they were literally right next to me. And I mean, they weren't really kind of, I guess everyone just thinks so differently about it though, but definitely, continue to, just do what they say with the distancing and, the mask or whatever it is though. But I mean, if you're outside in the public though, I feel like the mask is something that, is kind of like your, maybe your decision. But I mean, I don't know, Nick. It's going to be interesting, pal, because everyone now I think is getting to a level where it's just like, they just want to go back to. I mean, I get it though. You want to go back to normalcy. You want to go back to work, and I'm praying for you, brother and sister. If you are, I understand. I understand that financial stress is something that it's a different kind of stress because it's like
furloughed. Life. People are furloughed. People don't have their jobs. We see it at our radio station right now where we're working. People got furloughed, and we feel bad for people that got furloughed. It's just that companies don't have the money. You saw it with CBS on the television side. They had to make cuts. We're seeing it on different radio networks. We're seeing that they had to take cuts. So basically, all companies, it's not just radio, it's everything in the city. It's everything around this country. People are trying to open nail salons and gyms. And you and I talked about this a couple days ago when in New Jersey, the guys who tried to open the gym and Governor Murphy hit them with an ordinance and shut them back down. So basically,
yeah,
people are trying to open, and I get it. It's tough. You need to make money. People also are not, I don't think everybody received their stimulus checks. That's still an issue that's out there.
Oh yeah, and I gotta tell you though, Nick, I think but I get it though. I understand. I mean, and I think it's coming down now to where a lot of people feel like with your constitutional rights, you should be able to use that and go after these people because there's like a lot of I'm not really. There's a lot of politics with it though, which I'll just kind of leave, I guess, for the governors and all that to kind of work with. But I understand though where people are coming from though, because I mean people can really only do so much though, and then if you're not getting government help, it's almost just and right now it looks like they don't really want to help out with Americans any too much more with the government assistance, which is really going to force people to go back to work though, which I really hope, and I hope everyone finds peace and some strength. But excuse me, whoa, I'm drinking coffee.
I was waiting for one of those to happen.
Yeah, I'm drinking coffee and excuse me, woo. Sometimes it happens where I'm just talking, I'm just like, hi, how are you? Ooh. I'm like, oh my goodness. But
yeah, so basically we want everybody to go back to work. We know it's not going to be easy, but when you have 41 million people who are in unemployment, that's a lot. And I just don't know how we're going to handle this in the country when you have the president who's too worried about executive orders on Twitter and Facebook. So I don't know.
Donald Trump can launch a whole freaking career off of Twitter. I swear to you, as much as that man posts, he can launch a whole freaking career. I swear. $100 each post.
Oh God! Don't say that. Don't say that. He'll turn it into a business.
Could you freaking? He probably would be very successful at that.
I don't know, but basically, it's a tough thing. People will figure it out, and hopefully, we figure our technical issues out for next week, so that we can have our guests for next week. And I feel bad because I really was looking forward to talking to Danny B and Jamie a lot.
It's all good. We'll make sure we take care of them actually next week, though, because I love them so much. And brother and sister, I actually have to run into the city right now.
Oh, no, you have to do that work thing, don't you?
I do have to do that work thing. I got to do that work thing tonight, and I got to go straight to Wegmans at 8 tomorrow morning. So I have a double.
I got to say one thing. This man, I don't know how he does it, but all of a sudden, like, I'll say, Izzy, like, what's going on with your schedule this week? And then all of a sudden I'll say, well, I have Wegmans from 1 to 8, and then I'm going to run to the radio station. I'm going to work overnight from 11 to 6, and then, oh wait, I have to go back to Wegmans, right? And just to make this clear, he goes straight almost to Wegmans. Sometimes after an overnight shift, and I'm like, holy, yeah. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, guys, it's tough some mornings though. But I got to tell you though, I say to myself though that the good thing is going to be, the good thing is I'm just so happy I'm still making money. And so you know what I'm going to do, brother and sister? We're going to be back on next week, though. You know, we're going to let you know everything going on, too, because we're going to have some more special guests coming up, though, because I do have to run off of this before.
Yeah, and I'll say one more thing. One more thing I'll say is, from time to time, if we have multiple guests, it's too hard to have multiple guests on at the same time. So what we might do, except if it's two people for the same thing, we might tape some episodes and we'll premiere them on our page. I think, Izzy, you know how to do that, right? How to premiere.
Right. We'll be able to do that. Yep.
Because we have some, I have some interesting people in the pipeline for the two of us to put an episode together. I want them to be in next week's episode, even if we have to tape them. We will, and I have some others as well. So don't go anywhere. We have plenty to do. We do. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Nick and Izzy Show. And we have a lot down the pipeline. And even when the virus is over, we're going to come up with a way to get on a normal schedule. Because right now, the only reason we have the same days off is because we're not working as many hours. So basically, what will probably happen is we'll go from Thursdays probably to Saturdays if I had to take a guess, because that's when you and I have a similar schedule. But just stick with us, bear out the coronavirus, which you and I are doing, going back and forth, and we'll see you next week.
We will see you next week, my friend. And just remember, # Izzy loves you.